So, good evening, students. Now we are coming to the last point of this unit number 4, that is Poynting vector theorem and flow of power. So, there is a question: state and explain the Poynting vector theorem. This is the question generally asked in the university exam. Now, what is the statement? What is the statement of the Poynting vector theorem? So, here the mathematical statement is given. That is equation average power PAV equal to E vector cross H vector in watts per meter square. So here Poynting vector theorem, P vector is denoted by P vector. So the Poynting vector theorem or that is the instantaneous power density is directed in the direction of E vector multiplied by H vector. That is therefore, we can say in the direction of propagation of the wave. Therefore, the flow of energy takes place in the direction of propagation of wave. So, this indicates the flow of energy takes place in the direction of E multiplied by H vector, that is nothing but electric field and magnetic field. Now, coming to the derivation part of this Poynting vector theorem. So, it is taking the reference of Maxwell's first equation in the point form for time varying field is given by delta cross H vector equal to J vector plus del D vector divided by del T vector. Now we know the relation of D vector and E vector. So D vector equal to epsilon into E vector. Now therefore delta cross H vector equal to J vector plus putting the value of D vector here. So epsilon into del T of E vector. This is your equation number 1. Now I am taking the dot product of E vector on both sides. So by taking the dot product, E vector dot in bracket delta vector cross H vector equal to E vector into J vector, taking dot product, plus here again epsilon into E vector del V vector divided by del T. This is equation number 2. Now what is the vector identity? This vector identity we have earlier seen in number of times. So delta dot A vector multiplied by B vector equal to B vector dot delta vector in cross A vector minus A vector in bracket delta vector cross B vector. Now put here A vector equal to E vector in this equation and B vector equal to H vector. So delta vector into A vector is E vector multiplied by B vector is H vector equal to B vector is again H vector, delta vector cross A vector is E vector minus A vector is E vector in bracket delta vector cross V vector is H vector. So now here just rearranging the equation. So E vector is E vector dot delta vector cross H vector equal to H vector into H vector dot delta vector cross E vector minus this delta vector in bracket E vector cross H vector. This is equation number 3. Now again we have to take the reference of Maxwell's second equation. So Maxwell's second equation in point form for time varying field is given by delta vector cross E vector equal to minus of del V vector divided by del T, as B vector equal to mu into H, as we know that the magnetic flux which is related to the magnetic field. So delta vector cross E vector equal to minus of this mu in del T of H vector divided by del T. So this is equation number 4. Now what we have to do? We have to substitute here equation 4 in equation 3. Equation 4, that is delta vector cross E vector, putting this value here in the equation number 3. So E vector cross delta vector into H vector plus equal to H vector into delta vector cross E vector, just we have calculated, minus mu del H vector divided by del T minus of delta vector of again E vector cross H vector. It is same. So E vector into delta vector cross H vector equal to minus, just rearranging here this term. So minus of mu H vector del H vector divided by del T minus delta vector in bracket E vector cross H vector. This is equation number 5. Now equating, if you see the left hand side and right hand side of equation 5 and equation number 2, so it is same. So equating equation 2 and 5, equation 2 is this, so and this. So the equation 2 is J vector dot E vector, here I have taken, plus epsilon into E vector del E vector divided by del T equal to the right side of Equation number 5, minus mu h vector del h vector divided by t minus del vector e vector in bracket e vector cross h vector. So so again rearranging this equation, this term I have taking here. So minus of del vector dot e vector cross h vector equal to j dot e vector plus epsilon e del e vector del divided by del t vector. So this term will be the plus mu h vector del h vector divided by del t. Now in space, if we consider the direction of this e vector and del e vector divided by del t vector del t, which is same in space, right? So when it will be space, so the multiplication of e vector is, that is nothing but the e square. So we can write this value epsilon dot e vector del e vector divided by del t equal to 2 divided by 2 epsilon e vector. Here I am multiplied by 2 and divided by 2. So 2 by 2 epsilon e vector del e vector by del t vector. So we will get 1 by 2 epsilon of both square. So del e square, del e vector square divided by del t, where this e vector, it is nothing but is the instantaneous magnitude of electric field intensity. Similarly, for mu this term, that is mu h vector del h vector by del t, after doing this calculation, or we can say that the h vector and del h vector by del t, the magnitude of both are same in the space. So we will again getting calculation 1 by 2 mu del h vector square divided by del t, where h vector is the again instantaneous magnitude of magnetic field intensity. Therefore, we will get we are putting this value in the above equation. So we are getting delta vector cross e vector, delta vector into e vector cross h vector equal to j vector dot e vector. Then putting this value, replacing this value, so we are getting 1 by 2 epsilon e del e vector divided by del t plus 1 by 2 mu into del h vector divided by del t vector. So these calculations we can made here. Now integrating both sides of equation 6 in volume in a space enclosed by closed surface we get. So what we have to do, we have to take the integration of equation 6 with respect to its volume. So what will be the equation? I am just writing here the equation. So we will get minus integration of with respect to volume delta in bracket e vector cross h vector with respect to volume, that is dV. Again integration of volume integration in bracket j vector dot e vector plus we have just calculated the value 1 by 2 epsilon del e square divided by del t plus 1 by 2 mu del h vector square divided by del t with respect to volume dV. So therefore, now separating the volume of each value, so volume delta vector in bracket e vector cross h vector dV equal to volume j vector dot e vector into dV plus again volume integration 1 by 2 epsilon del e square divided by del t dV plus separating the term, so 1 by 2 mu del h vector square divided by del t into dV. So I have separated the each term. Now as we know the divergence theorem, so according to divergence theorem, the divergence theorem is surface integration of e vector cross h vector into ds equal to volume integration of curl of e vector cross h vector into dv. This is your equation number 8. Now equating equation 7 and 8. So what was the equation number 7? Equation number 7 is this equation and equation number 8 is this. So the equation number 7, this value will be this value. So this value and this value will be the same. So we can write minus of, since here is the minus, so minus of surface integration in bracket E vector cross H vector into ds equal to the remaining part with respect to volume will be the same. So volume of J vector dot E vector into dv plus volume of 1 by 2 del t I am just rearranging here, del t of epsilon into E vector square into dv, epsilon into E vector square into dv plus integration of volume integration of again 1 by 2 del t I am taking here del t into mu of H vector square into dv. So this is your equation number 9, right? This equation is called as power vector theorem. So this is the equation is big equation and this big equation is called as the power vector theorem. Now consider as integration with respect to volume, that is J vector dot E vector. So J vector is the instantaneous conduction current density. Yes, we know that this J vector is the instantaneous conduction current density produced in the medium by electric field of wave due to non-zero value of conductivity. So E vector dot J vector gives the power per unit volume. So this term always gives the power as with respect to volume. So power per unit volume at point. So therefore this term we can say I am just figuring out here so what is the meaning of individual terms of this power vector theorem. So volume integration of this E vector dot J vector gives the power in the volume in watt, gives the power in volume in watt, that is dissipated as ohmic losses. Similarly in the next term, this, that is the epsilon of E square divided by 2, epsilon E square divided by 2 gives the energy density in electric fields. It gives energy density in electric field of the wave. So volume integration of 1 by 2. So this volume integration of 1 by 2 del t in bracket epsilon E square into dv gives the instantaneous rate of increase of energy stored in the electric field of the wave. And similarly the third term is mu h square. So what is that? Mu h square by 2, it is nothing but gives the energy density in the magnetic field intensity of the wave, gives the energy density in magnetic field intensity of the wave. So the combined term, that is 1 by 2 del t mu h square into dv gives the instantaneous rate of increase of energy stored in the magnetic field of the wave. So we can say that after concluding this equation I am again writing here, that is minus of epsilon integration of surface integration of E vector cross H vector into ds equal to volume integration of J vector dot E vector dv plus del t in volume integration of 1 by 2 see I'm just writing 1 by 2 बाहर ले लिया यहाँ पे I am taking it outside of the bracket so volume of del t 1 by 2 of epsilon of e square into dv plus del t of volume integration of 1 by 2 mu h square into dv. This is your equation number 10. So minus of surface integration of E vector cross H vector into ds which will be equal to total instantaneous power entering in the surface. Total instantaneous power entering into the surface. So and if we are taking this is entering power, so if we are taking the plus sign, so E vector cross H vector into ds we can say that total instantaneous power leaving the surface. Total instantaneous power leaving the surface. So entering the surface and leaving the surface. So E vector cross H vector, therefore E vector cross H vector in watts per meter square gives the average power density. Gives the average power density and so that the average power PAV equal to E vector cross H vector in watts per meter square. This is nothing but the pointing vector which I have given at the start of this derivation, and this is your last equation, that is equation number 11. So power density, that is nothing but the power per unit area, and this is nothing but this is the pointing theorem. So pointing theorem PAV equal to E vector cross H vector in watts per meter square. So statement already I have taken earlier. Now again I am repeating that statement. The pointing vector which is denoted by P vector, that is instantaneous power density, is directed to the direction of E vector multiplied by H vector. That is in the direction of the propagation of wave, and therefore the flow of energy takes place in the direction of the propagation of the wave. So this is the exact statement of the pointing vector theorem. So I am concluding here unit number 4. So in the unit number 4, what we have completed? We have taken earlier the different derivations. We have gathered all the formulas over here in the part 1. Then in part 2, we have taken some example. In part 3, we have also taken some example. Also, we have discussed about the conductor as a dielectric and the loss tangent. And then next part of that, we have in the part number 4, we have discussed about the conditions for good conductor and the perfect dielectric material. And we have taken some formulas, and also we have taken some example over there in part number 4. Part number 5, we have taken the concept of depth of penetration and the skin effect. So what do you mean by depth of penetration, and what will be the relation of depth of penetration, and how we can calculate the relation of depth of penetration and the skin effect, that we have covered into the part 5 of this unit. And in the last part, that is nothing but the today's part, we have completed the pointing vector theorem. So everything I have covered in this YouTube videos, that is for unit number 4. and thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.